Next presentation is Missouri School of Dentistry and Oral Health Veterans Program Assessment.
Can I clip this on? Can I clip it? Yeah. All right, can you guys hear me okay? All right, so good morning, my fellow peers, faculty, staff, and additional visitors. My name is Yesenia Enriquez, and I will be presenting the Dentures for Veterans Program Assessment. So this program assessment is a database collection for a good foundational beginning for future research projects and data collection. This is a continuation of last year's research project, and we have been lucky enough to work with Dr. Greaves, our mentor, throughout our amazing journey. We also have some amazing team members that consist of Hung, Christopher, Kimberly, Tyler, and we kind of forgot Roman's name up there, but Roman was also in our group. Next slide, please. All right, so our research question reads, what ways will the collection of a MOSDO Veteran Project dataset extracted from the MOSDO St. Louis Dental Center, EDR, which stands for Electronic Dental Records, improve future services and research when providing functional oral care to underserved veterans? So within the study, we have aimed to create a functional and easy to understand database that can be added to and edited upon accumulation of screenings. So eventually, we want to assess the impact the Veterans Program has on its participants. So this information will aid us in improving future services when providing functional oral care to underserved veterans and the population. Next slide, please. So for a brief introduction for those of us who have participated in the Veterans Screening or have a tie with the Veterans Program, which I'm sure is the majority of us in this room, we have a good idea of what this program is capable of and what it entails. But for those of us who don't, here's a brief introduction. So the MOSDO Veterans Program has provided low-cost oral health services, including the fabrication of dentures. This also includes partials to thousands of veterans since the program started. So from the research acquired during this project, it can be concluded that dentures and proper oral health care helps adults as they age both physically and mentally. Veterans do not always receive the care that they need due to financial barriers, and it is believed that programs such as this one are important in making sure dental care is affordable and accessible to them. Next slide, please. So through our research over the topic, we touched on 3 areas from other studies that would help us find similar models for our research and ways to improve our project in the future. All right, so these 3 include data collection, mental health, and future research. The first one, data set collection, allows us to better assess, collect, store, and share the data. Another one would be the state of the patron and how they are affected mentally by their level of dentition. This can affect the ease of eating, how comfortable they are in public, how confident they are in themselves, for example, during interviews and other important events. Lastly, we looked at where future research can go as the effect of the data can have on the MOSDO Veterans Program. So some of the data from similar studies have included some life-saving data. So it's promising to see that some of the positive effects of where our research and data collection can go. Next slide, please. So what our research group did is we extracted the data from the EDR, and once this information was collected, it's going to help us identify the veteran patients that have benefited from our program and allow us the ability to survey them on the care that they have received from the dental clinic for future research projects through surveys or other methods. Next slide, please. So our team gathered this information. So we got some CDT codes from the patient's EDR, and so we were able to see which ones we had completed. So, for example, we gathered the information from maxillary and mandibular complete dentures. We also would look for treatment that was done for resin-based partials and cast metal partials, and also flexible base partial dentures. Next slide, please. So the current data that was gathered had the patient's first and last name, the date of birth, their unique chart ID, the zip code, the sex, and any notes that pertain to their chart. What was important was their intake date for when they were first initially seen, and the type of removable appliance that the patient received. So that was in correspondence with the CDT codes. Future data that we would like to include in the database is the patient ethnicity, additional address information. So if we need to send out any other type of surveys, we would have a good point of contact. Additional procedures such as restorative or periodontal procedures and surgical, and completed treatment date, and eventually the satisfaction questionnaire. So this will allow us to document whether or not a survey has been sent to them and completed. Next slide, please. So we are proudly, I'm proud to present this information. So we have seen over 870 veterans at the St. Louis Dental Center, and we have completed over 400 removable prostheses for the veterans. Next slide, please. So where do we go next? So the next phase of research will allow future researchers to be able to use the information that provided to reach out to previously served veterans within the program. The surveys will be sent out asking for satisfaction of care levels and gain more insight on what parts of the program work well and what things we need to improve on. Additionally, the database can be used for diagnostic purposes or other forms of contact information for the appropriate avenues. Next slide, please. So future steps, we pretty much have 3. Continue growing. We want to continue growing this database. So we want to have more veteran screenings. We want to add topics to the data collection, and we want to indicate areas of desired survey information. Next slide, please. So areas for improvement, we would like to link to other potential funding sources. So this program is based off of donations, and so we want to make sure that we have a source of income that allows the veterans to obtain the dental care they need at a reasonable price. Utilize and improve veteran screening days using help of the research team, and include other administrative components to improve funding. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, the MOSDO Veterans Program, it is growing, and so is our research project. We believe that the surveys that will come in the future will be distributed, and it will provide us enough evidence that the MOSDO Veterans Project provides needed care to the veterans. In addition, we also hope to obtain continuous financial and administrative support. And we also believe that it will help enhance the program and allow more veterans to receive the care that they need. Next slide, please. All right, so special thanks to our I knew I was going to screw up this word, biostatistician, Mary, our research team, Dr. Greaves, and Dr. Silva, who is the pioneer of this program, and Dr. Omar as well. She has been there throughout our journey. And then last but not least, we would also like to thank all of our veterans who have served, currently serving, or will serve. And thank you for your sacrifices and dedication to freedom that allow us to be here today. Next slide, please. Interested in donating? Of course, this program depends on your support. And so this is one way that we can continue this incredible work that we do here at the St. Louis Dental Center. And next slide, please. Thank you for your time, and hoorah! Any questions?